Welcome to Creative Foundations. This lesson is designed as an extension of the Exploring the Hebrew Letters companion workbook. You do not need the workbook to participate, but if you do have the workbook, this is where the letter profile sheet for the letter aleph will come alive and carry additional depth and meaning. If you're interested in exploring the Hebrew letters with me, the companion workbook is available on Amazon. I'll include a link below and above. And the full teaching for each letter, aleph to tav, is offered right here on YouTube for free. In this lesson, we'll be using a technique called scrape painting. This is process art. It unfolds in layers step by step, allowing texture, pattern, and color to build gradually. At the end of this video, I've included ideas for simplifying or condensing the process if you're working with a group that needs a lighter version. Before we begin, I want to let Kristy share her intention behind the piece you're about to create. There are layers and depth to her thought process and artistry, which is why I thought she'd be perfect to guide us through this lesson. We've worked together in many other creative outlets, and today she designs her own jewelry line called Mira, which I'll also link below if you're interested. If you're new, aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew aleph-bet, and if you've been doing the workbook study, you already know that it carries the ancient image of an ox head, a symbol of strength and leadership. Its numerical value is 1, representing first and source. With that in mind, listen as Kristy explains how she approached this design and what aleph meant to her as she created.
This one is more just re-emphasizing what you shared, that the aleph is the head of an ox, symbolizes 1, which is why we only have 1 on the paper here. Both like the colors, some of the colors, would point or nod to, I guess when I think of like the source or the origin or beginning of everything, you have a lot of like earthy tones and grays. The concrete colors, like this, referencing the strength or power, solid, something solid we stand on. And obviously this is not exactly, it's like not an exact representation of an ox, but it's like you can recognize that's what it is, where other art projects we might do are much more abstract. But I just liked the bold shapes pieced together to make up what we see of the ox. And the colorful pops are, to me, always, I guess the light and the brightness of it is like a reminder of Jesus being the light, and the 3 layers of this sun shape on his belly are kind of like where, you know how it references, or not references, that's the wrong word, but you hear through the word of God, but also just like even in our common language, like, oh, I feel it in my gut, or my like just my inner being, whatever. So that's why it's placed where it is, of the Lord is like the center of where we thrive and where our source is and our creativity, and radiates out from there, like the sun radiates out.
Before we begin, know this: you will create every part of this ox yourself. Nothing is pre-made. Every layer, pattern, and shape comes from the painted papers you build. You're going to want to have paper that's heavier than standard printer paper. Cardstock will do. And the PDF link below includes the full instruction, color palette, supply list, and even the stencil for this ox. If you follow the suggested order, the drying time will flow more smoothly, but feel free to do you. And if you have a hairdryer handy, that can speed up the drying process between layers if you're trying to do this in one session. You'll also want to plan for a place to put all of these sheets to dry. It might be a good idea to put some brown paper down to protect any surfaces. Let's start with creating the dark gray layer.
This on your own page, but like with a credit card, depending on the angle you do it, gonna change, like if you go flat, that makes it kind of too thick. We're like aiming for thin, not blobs of paint because it'll dry. I put some jute and some hippo gray just in blobs. And as it comes down,
Oh, that's really pretty.
yeah, but if I like work it too much, it's all going to turn into the darkest color there is. If you kind of just like do one pass and let it be, then it'll stay. I just wanted to see some separation in it. And just for you to know too, we're going to like be cutting these up and using them for different things. So don't even worry what like the big picture looks like right now. It's like cool to have some solid, some like with variation of texture. So just have at it and see what happens.
Next, we're gonna do a light gray color. We used one called Misty Grove.
So again, you're probably gonna get like a full sheet and just worst over the whole thing. And you can tell any little like tiny something stuck on here, you're gonna see it come through, which is fun. It's not a big deal, it's just what happened. And then with this one, the upper layers, we're gonna just do more scraping.
While this light gray is still wet, go ahead and add a darker gray and scrape it over. Here, Kristy's gonna show us how to do our backdrop. You wanna make sure this sheet of paper is as big or bigger than your finished product. Scrape a full sheet of brown. We use territorial beige in this video. Now, moving on to a light blue sheet. Scrape a whole sheet of light blue.
This card is too heavy. The stiffer the card, I like the outcome better.
You see that?
Yeah.
When you shows that? It really, you just double up cards. Is that what you do?
No,
I just switched cards. There's too many lines or something when that card is too flimsy.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get more like a concrete texture. Kind of part of the first piece. You just get it.
Time to do a bright yellow sheet. You can see here, Kristy is adding a little bit of brown and orange to give this sheet a little different tone. And moving on to our orange sheet, feel free to leave it solid orange or add a little touch of yellow. Now bring back your original brown backdrop. Here we're adding a second layer, chocolate brown, using the baby wipe.
This is going to be my next paint tool, is just like wrapping a baby wipe around, and you're just spreading it around in circular motions on top. And if you work one area too much, you're going to start lifting the paper fibers up. It'll like destroy the paper basically. So you're just kind of working quickly across the whole area. And then when you have no more paint to spread out, just put either a little more paint on here or a little more paint on here until you've covered. We are going to work to the edges. But you can see how once you do it, you get almost like a concrete or like a different kind of texture to it. Less lines left of this scraping. So if your paint is too thick, you won't see anything below. But if you keep rubbing a little bit, you'll like kind of see the texture come through from beneath.
Now it's time to move on to pattern making. We're gonna go back to the first two sheets we did, that dark gray and light gray sheet, and begin doing our patterns there. They should be the most dry.
The idea for this is like just making all kinds of random textures, because these are going to be cut up too, so it really doesn't matter the whole picture because of how it's going to be cut up. I'm going to go back to use some of that. You can use like all kinds of found objects, which is I like about this kind of thing.
you can do creative.
The edge of a clothespin can make like little lines. This is like one of the best tools for just like whole rows of little lines.
Once you start finding a groove of the pattern making, other shapes will just come out. Some people did crosses, herringbone, triangles, lines, anything. Anything will work. And it all ends up looking pretty cool in the end. Now, while everything is drying, you can start to prepare your cutouts using the stencil in the PDF provided or create your own layout. Cut everything out and get it ready.
This is sort of like downy colored, you know, thinking, and the colors that are chosen here is like for concrete in alignment with the definition of aleph being the strong strength and ox life. And we're creating a little ox arm. And this is like, you again have liberty to do your own version of an ox, but I have like a pattern and we'll have like a PDF.
If you it is you want to create something.
So we have his body, his legs, his tail, and feet. You can add this or not. It's up to you, but just added a different dimension to it. I also liked thinking of like the Father, Son, and Spirit is one, all one, but different layers in this rendition of it. But there you have our strong ox. So because the legs have to slide under this piece, this large one, I'm putting glue on the top portion, not so much down by the belly yet. And I'm overlapping a lot just because that's what I'm doing. And then before this stuff dries, I gotta shove the tail. The tail. Place. If you work quickly enough, you can like pretty easily just peel stuff back up. And glue dries clear, so it's pretty forgiving. Cutting it right now. Okay, I see You're just trying to keep in mind the different parts, because if you glue one thing down without considering other parts, you might glue it down in a place you don't actually want it.
No.
But I like the overhang of the face, so it's not perfectly lined up with the body. The eyes are like the biggest thing that I think. Whoops, I just marked my eyeball. My eyeball has a freckle now. But it's the thing that's going to make them look either like cute, weird, childlike, or just, yeah. So like play around a lot with how close together, or maybe marking it one way or the other. Because it totally changes the look of him when it's like super close together versus spreading them. I think spreading them wider always is helpful, but can play around with that before sealing those in place.
As you finish your ox, step back and look at what you built. Each piece began separately, different colors, textures, layering, and placement, coming together to be one form. And this is part of our creative foundations. Thank you for creating with us, and keep your eye out for lesson number 2. I'm looking forward to continuing this with you. And as I promised in the beginning, this is a simplified version for younger kids or hesitant teens. I made my kids create just 1 or 2 scrape painted sheets. I had them add patterns once they dried. They were able to choose what kind of image they wanted to do, and they glued it to an already solid background. I had black on hand, so that worked. My son chose to do the ancient pictograph of the ox head, and my daughter chose to do the actual letter aleph. And that was what they did. They cut it out and glued it. And if you're doing this for a group that meets regularly, you can always break it up into 20-minute sessions. Paint one day, pattern the next, cut the next day, assemble, and take your time as you move through the process. I hope that you're inspired by this, and feel free to move at your own pace and alter any point of this to make it work for you. Enjoy.